connections. You're gonna have ability to connect in. What we got to do though, we have to make sure they should all be connected, because everybody on the street team is got access to Lucidity. Lucidity is a asset management software for their street photos or street management. So they all should have at least a standard license. But we were going to try to do it in Pro. Now open up, go all the way down to Planometric and expand Planometric. So go back up, go to P and expand Planometric. There you go. Open up Planometric reference right below it. This is not necessarily all your data, but the data you guys will be maintaining will be street improvements. So right now you could drag and drop street improvements to ArcMap. So
we have an MXD. Let's go bring that one, Ted, and make sure that they can.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Yeah, because we already symbolized and everything. So why don't we, just do that? Okay, so we know that you're able to access the data right now, right? So the other thing that I have is I just want to make sure that everybody present here today in this meeting are the transport editors, other than Ken and Ted, correct?
Yeah.
Or is anybody doing just the QC, or
I don't think we probably iron that out on how they'll ultimately do that, but and also they're light on the GIS. They're all CAD users. They're all engineers. So we haven't really known. I think they'll all just run QC on themselves or whatever, and then we'll come back and we'll assist. We're anticipating we're going to be a little more involved with these guys than say Electric.
Okay. So I will.
These guys sit right next to us, so we want to keep them happy.
Okay, sure. Right. I'm just making notes as I go, as far as the interface is concerned. Like we have the ArcMap on there. We just made a connection. Okay, let's take a look at the machine requirements. So Ted, just going by your description of the machine, they have, Alex machine is a strong machine that can basically, if he's got Pro on it, then I'm assuming that ArcMap is easy. It's working okay for him. Is that?
I would expect it. I would expect they all have 30 gigs of RAM. Their machines are all better than IT, so you can certainly go through it, check, make sure they're running the right license and whatnot. But
right. Okay. So can you go to the My Computer and then open up your system? Yeah, just go to this PC. Can you go up and then find your system, desktop? Yeah, system properties. Sorry, it's up there. It's right above your.
You could right-click this PC where he's at, right where it's on the left side, down towards the bottom. But go to the bottom on the, go all the way to the bottom where it says this PC.
This PC.
Yeah, we want to do a properties on this PC. So
I see system properties there. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 32 GB RAM, and then you have an Intel Core i9 processor. I think this is good.
This is like the standard that Public Works. Aswood has the same machine, so this is where we're trying to move Public Works to, is this processor, or the whole city for that matter.
Right. Okay. So sounds good. Let's close this then, and then let's go to the internet access. So I don't think it's going to really matter that much with the, but I'm assuming you have a relatively good internet on your machine, right? We're saying this in the context of, I don't know during the training whether you will be at work or from home, but but sometimes the thing, if your internet speed is slow, depending on if you're accessing your data over the internet, things can be very, very slow. So that's what I meant to say. Or your intranet speed might. So right now you don't find any issues, right? As far as, your daily workflows.
No, everything, the internet works good when I'm at work. The only thing
Okay.
is if we're through the secure link, that's when stuff might be a little slow.
Okay, yeah, we access your system through secure links and we find issues sometimes, but yeah, other than that, you're okay, right? That's what you mean.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's try to go get that MXD that we talked about. So if you go to your folders and then look for rc//rc-gis.
Just regular folder.
Yep.
Yeah.
And type in here.
Yeah.
//
Mm-hmm.
What was
So
that again?
// no, that's // rc dash arcgis dash arcgis / GIS data, and then click on that. Okay, and once that opens, open up GIS videos. Everything we're doing is pretty much in this directory for this project. Open up the underscore from DCSE at the top.
Yeah.
Yep, and open up transport. Yep, and then open up the version 107 version 0.
The non-TED.
Yeah, well, it's the same as mine. I just wanted to back up, and it's called TED. This won't force. So right now, when they created it, it was database authenticated as Haritha. I've just switched it over to OS authenticated, so you guys don't have to worry about that change because it takes from a performance standpoint, it's a little slow. At a later point, they'll show you how to change connections. The way you change connections in ArcMap is going to be the same as you'll see in Pro.
So
just remember, they're all pretty much related to one another.
Okay, Ted, if you have already taken care of that issue, then maybe he should take that MXD, correct?
Yeah. I want him to take this one. I don't want him to. My machine is so slow opening up these MXDs to switch them over after I kill the version and do that process, that I'd rather just rebuild it so that they don't have to experience the speed I deal with.
Okay. Okay, that sounds okay to me.
This is Ed. I have a quick question. Are we supposed to be following this on our own machines, what Alex is doing, or are we going to be doing this separately in this meeting, or?
Right after we finish with Alex, we'll come to everybody's machines and check the settings and configuration. But you could technically go copy that MXD and then keep it ready. If you have your data mapped correctly, like the database connection we just made, you should be able to see the same thing like he is doing right now.
And just out of curiosity, why can't we do this in Pro?
Because I tried. Trust me, I tried.
We all tried. Okay, it does show up. Took a minute or so, but it does show up. So you're good with that. It's drawing one over the other. It kind of seems a little bit slow at this point right now, but okay, so both those layers are visible. Okay, so save this somewhere locally on your machine, like your C drive project, something, so that you can have it on your own machine instead of getting it from that location there.
Do it now?
Yeah, please.
All right. So we have a spot for our. You want to save it locally?
Yeah, local is better.
All right. So desktop.
Mm-hmm. I would actually put it in the C drive if you don't mind. Sorry.
Do another save as, like in my documents.
Yeah, you can go to no C colon C drive. Do you have a projects folder or any sort of like location where you put your GIS stuff in there? Because we're going to have to put some other things also in there. So just hoping that you, if you don't have, can you create something like GIS folder or anything else? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Save it
Yep.
there.
That looks good. Okay. So I'm just going down my checklist here. 1 second. And let's see, go to help and press about ArcMap. Okay, you're on standard license type, and that's good.
So you need standard and above to be able to edit version data, but they all have edit rights to Lucidity GIS as well. One thing also I'd like to say is, since you guys have this MXD, look through the data. I know you guys don't edit 90% of this, but it's all in Planimetric. So at some point you might say, you know what, we just dump Travelway or ILS Clear Zone or it's the old sidewalk layer. The street improvements is important. There's a curb. Where's that? It's a point data set. Street photo. We have a 2018 street photo. We're trying to organize the file structure on the server, but we do have like 299 gigs copied over from your drive, so that you guys can. And then we have the layer in SDE, so you can do. And that would be something that perhaps Haritha could show. I'm using the highlight tool because this is the team that uses the street photo stuff. But there is a layer in here for curbs. It's probably the curb ramp point, actually, the one that's selected.
Right. From what we understand, your curb ramp point is a very important layer. Let me just quickly look back at my notes. And the street improvements layer, which is also, it's right here. So this is your street improvements layer, and this is a curb ramp point layer. In the curb ramp point, there is a field that says kind or type, but actually there isn't much data in there except for a few filled with some numbers in there. Like 250 records have some number in them, but the remaining ones are null. And you have like 16,000 records over here on this one. Okay, so we just left it at that one single like magenta dot because we didn't know what else to like categorize this by. There wasn't much information that was being given over here. Now I do notice the plan number, but you don't have an annotation for that plan number. We can label things by that plan number if that's important. Okay, so
Yeah, so Haritha knows this data hasn't necessarily been updated a lot in the last few years. So they've gone out and we've had a car drive around and build a layer. It's just not spatially accurate. So they actually have two different data sets. They have a bunch of layers for modeling, and then they have this layer. So it will be, we'll have to come up with a good workflow. Either we maintain street improvements or we try to maintain the Lucidity data where we input the geometries. I don't know how that ultimately pans out or whatever happens, but it's certainly something that we'll start to have more discussions on as we go down this path with transport and streets.
I guess I have a real quick question. My question would be, if the curb ramp point and the street improvements, are these the only layers that are being maintained by transport team, or would they be editing some other data too?
As far as I know, the only layers that they're really going to maintain is street improvements and the curb ramp. Railroad,
Okay. Basically,
lines.
curb and gutter, sidewalks, curb ramps, AC berms, so they have those designated edge of pavements, and then the PCI data and the videos, the street photos.
So you're going to do all that? What
Well,
about
I mean,
railroad?
those are all the stuff well, do we really have railroad data or no? Is it just
Yeah, we have
crossings?
railroad points. Yeah, we have crossings and we have lines.
Okay, well, I guess that would fall on us too.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
And
all
then
great. That's
obviously,
good.
yeah.
Great, man. How about the ILS
I mean, I
clear?
don't know who's gonna do it, but I think it falls on us.
Yeah, we just want to make sure like what does a day in a GIS editor's work look like, just to make sure that we address the right layers and everything. So you said we actually called it reference over here right now because we thought that these were only your reference layers. But is this something you plan to edit and maintain, the group transportation reference, which consists of the bridge, the mile, the post miles 10th clip, which is, I think I may have to zoom out, or it's kind of along in the center of the city, I would say that.
Yeah, so I actually
Please.
added that data set, that 10th, the post miles one, because it was something community development was doing and I just stuck it in transportation.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's if you guys are gonna maintain some of that, we don't have topology built into transportation. So we could add a topology because this is, I mean, it's something that IT can help out in some of the edits, like the cross cutter, those kind of things too. But and hopefully we'll come up with a workflow. Their primary workflow, hopefully, Harita, will be they're in CAD, they're generating this data in CAD. We want to bring that CAD data into street improvements and where they can literally just copy the lines in.
Okay.
That's
Do you
correct.
have a sample CAD drawing that you can send to us?
Yeah, we can provide you something. You just want to see how to, or give an example of how to incorporate it?
Yeah, if you have a sample which you have already moved over, migrated over, that's one area, like where you have already finished the work, right? Bringing
Yeah.
it into GIS. Then the other option, the other sample I would like to see is where you haven't yet brought it in, so that we can use it for our training exercise.
Okay, but something that has been completed, NOC, like the completion's done, it just the CAD work hasn't been updated in GIS.
Yes. Yes. So you have a CAD
Yeah.
drawing, right? And you have already, there are some CAD drawings which you have already brought it into GIS and you're okay with that. Is this CAD drawing one CAD drawing for the city-wide area, or are these like multiple CAD drawings depending on like which area you're at?
Well, each project is separate. Let's say we're looking at this intersection. If we're doing some widening on, what are we looking at, the university? If we're doing some widening on that block, there might be multiple CAD drawings associated with it, but it's one project. So we could have a street base that would show all the curb improvements. We could have a utility base that maybe shows, some storm drain improvements. A right-of-way base that shows, how the right-of-way was, if we acquired right-of-way for whatever reason. There could be separate drawings associated with it, but I guess, maybe the best thing to do is to get our base files and bind them into one, potentially, and, and provide you that drawing.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. If you can please send those, then we can overlay them and see which layers have been taken and where they are, which, like there is a translation between your CAD drawings and your GIS layers. So let's say you normally get things from CAD, the line work from CAD, and then you will fill in all of the attribute data as needed.
I don't know who that person is right now. Right now, we were just going to assign it to each engineer. There's a good. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is like a brand new workflow for them. So they're experts in CAD and they're getting good at Pro.
Yeah.
So the overall workflow though is completely undefined. So when you guys come up with, hey, here's how you bring CAD in, here's how you copy and paste CAD lines from this to this, from the CAD to the version, that's
Right.
going to be new for them because they're kind of like the storm team, right? Michael D wasn't updating storm data,
Mhm.
or Elijah wasn't doing sewer. Transport's kind of in that same boat where it's another team that has been doing everything in the CAD space, but everybody
Right.
uses the right of way. Everybody in the city uses it. It's probably one of the most important layers. Is in fact, and so